Mama G here with Kim Tyler. And so Kim has a very good interview story because Kim's one of these people that, just kind of followed along, but just not ready, right? Not ready.
No.
And so, she'd say things to me like, oh, you'll be so proud of me. I gave up Sody Pop. Yeah, so proud of you. And then all of a sudden, come August, well, July sometime, end of July, when I'm always putting out on Facebook and all those places and go, oh, experiment started. Then all of a sudden, Kim came round. So what made you say this was something you wanted to be part of?
Like number one reason, there's a few, definitely a few reasons. I think the biggest reason was what's the fear of?
Fear of failure was your reason.
No. Fear of missing out.
Oh yeah, the old FOMO.
Yeah. I would say that was probably one tied with the fact that my mom had a massive stroke in May.
And your dad.
My dad had a triple bypass in February.
Woo, and they're only in their 60s.
Yeah, late 60s. So I think that was probably the top two. I have very active kids and husband and son-in-law, and I was tired of watching.
Yeah, so.
Because I knew I was capable. It just, yeah.
The old FOMO.
Yep.
But previous to that, like being part of it was not an option? Was there something that you didn't think you needed to?
No, I knew I needed to. I just mentally, that's where a fear came in.
But there was fear of failure.
Absolutely.
So fear of failing what? Because you pretty much were already failing.
Yes. But that was definitely something that within, I would say, the first couple of weeks that I realized, and I don't know if somebody said it on the experiment page. I don't know if you said it to me, but yeah, your fear of failing, but you're failing because you're not doing anything. So it kind of was a cliche almost, saying you were failing, fearing the failure because you were failing, but you didn't really know that you were failing because, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing.
One of the questions I always have, and maybe you might be able to answer this for me, is I know people are like, oh, like if I start this thing, like I'll never be able to go back to my old life.
Never.
Which would not, I don't think this is a bad idea, but I feel like people think like if I start it, like I can't stop it. Like I'm going to get on this train, runaway train, and God forbid if I want a donut.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't, because I have people who have reached out to me and have kind of explained the program, and then like, she's not ready yet.
Mm-hmm. My husband didn't understand that either, because he was like, I don't understand why you're not ready. Why can't you just be ready tomorrow morning? That was a big thing for him that over 25 years he didn't understand, because he doesn't struggle with food. He'll eat a cookie and then he walks away from a cookie, and he's never had that struggle, so he didn't understand that. So I would say the fear came in, but I don't really know how to answer that. I know that I was afraid of the unknown, because I think I knew, being an athlete all my life, I knew that I could exercise. I didn't necessarily know exactly calculated.
What it would look like?
Yes, or like the calculated, because I was coached and told what to do, and I did it, and I did it well, and I was successful, and I had a great body and all of those things. And then when I stopped, and then I gained weight, and then I had kids, and life happens, like you say. It's like, and then all of a sudden, here I am, married almost 25 years, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, but now, so I knew that I would know how to exercise, but you can't just get in and swim. So having Sam calculate and tell me.
Right, and hold your hand.
Yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. And say, this is what you're going to do. And there are days when I go, I'm going to try this. And sometimes she'll be like, that's great. Don't do that next time. Or, so it's figuring out the process.
Yeah. But we have a game plan for everybody. I mean, it's customized
Yes.
to you. If you have an injury, if you have things you don't want to do, if you have access to a gym or you don't have access to a gym, it's not like we're putting on the treadmill. We're putting it at 10 miles per hour, and we're going to cattle prod behind you.
Right. Yeah. Well, might be nice sometimes. No. So yeah, the fear. Is that what we're talking about? I'm lost for a second, but I think people don't understand that the fear is real, for sure. Now, 90 days later, almost, I think that was really dumb that I feared it. But, I think a lot of us, I had done so many things over the years, and my husband's like, is this really going to work?
Yeah,
is it, it's like, are you really going to do this this time?
Well, maybe the fear is like, oh, I'm going to disappoint them again. And if I don't start something, then I can't fail, and then they won't say, oh, again.
Right.
So you had mentioned like your husband didn't have a food thing. Did you have a food thing? Were you somebody who
I definitely
fell prey to cravings or
sugar? Definitely was one that and it's not like I craved a piece of cake every day but I definitely, like, my coffee was full of sugar. And
you were a Starbucks.
Yes.
What? Frappuccino,
iced mochas, which have pumps of mocha in it and whole milk.
And you didn't use non-nutritives.
No.
You used the real thing.
Real stuff. So I guess that was good.
So that's a nice kickstart of saturated fat and refined sugar to your day.
Yeah. And I've always been, from the second I met you, however, 24 years ago, I've always drank my calories. And that's one thing, always. Don't drink your calories. Don't drink your calories. And it's still sometimes a struggle. I wouldn't say a struggle. That's not probably accurate. But, there's times when I'd rather just grab something to drink, and I wish it had enough calories in it that I didn't have to think, okay, now I need to eat. But I drink water, so it's not like there's calories somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, and you did mention, like, now it's like something that's like to get those calories in,
it's
right?
It's hard.
So you I would consider one of the picky people, the picky experimenters. Well, I don't like this and I don't like that. And I'm like, well, you're going to try it.
Yeah.
And you end up trying foods those first few weeks that you never expected. But you were willing to try it.
Yes.
Right? So
because I got to the point where I didn't really give myself an option. I didn't give myself an out. There was no way this wasn't going to work this time.
Yeah.
And
But it also was logical.
Yes.
Nothing about it seemed necessarily temporary. It wasn't like we were taking away food.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually telling you to eat. It wasn't like we were restricting food groups other than crappy food groups.
Right.
We were telling you to eat 3 squares and 2 snacks and and then things actually started to taste like really good, right? The old nutritious and delicious is the real deal. Like, you make a recipe.
I can't imagine my morning without peanut butter. I would have told you 3 months ago.
So are you a Mama G special? Is that your
peanut butter toast
and all that? Yeah.
And I would have told you I hated peanut butter.
Yeah.
July 31st.
Yeah. And you hate, there's a lot of other things you thought you hated. But, like I said, Mama G must have the old universal taste bud, because most of my recipes, people love. Tonight we made chicken enchiladas. Can't wait to have those. So, all right. So you start the experiment. You were the ideal client because she did exactly what we asked. Exactly. She would even be one of those people who wanted to get the 50, 30, 20 on the dot. And I'm like, FYI, you got a 45 to 55 and a 25 to 35 and a 15 to 25 on those percentages. Don't get crazy. But I know, like, when you hit it, it's like, oh,
yeah,
I got it.
It was exciting. Yeah.
But
I am better because I know that
it became a little bit of a game in MyFitnessPal.
Yes.
Right? It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's
for sure.
And then with MyFitnessPal, you start to learn, like, avocado is 100% fat versus, maybe a nut, which is some protein and a little carbohydrate. And a lot of fat,
Right.
and like you actually kind of start to learn the
Yeah, you really realize
composition,
that
right?
a fruit is not just a fruit.
Right,
You know?
right,
Yeah.
and vegetables, right?
Yes.
Vegetables even have some fat, and a lot of them are really high in protein, which
Yeah.
skews that protein. So, don't get as much
Right.
animal protein, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but she was ideal. If everybody could be like Kim, it'd be
stop.
awesome. No, but because a lot of people, well, can I do it this way? Can I do it that way? It's like fruit and a dairy for a snack.
Yeah.
Telling you it's a thing.
Yeah.
So you just stuck to the game plan, and immediately that curve. I mean, it was immediate for Kim, but you weren't necessarily a dieter.
No.
So, she really didn't screw her metabolism. This is what we say. There's things beyond our control. How you've treated your body, if you've done a lot of dieting, the roller coaster, if you've lost muscle mass. So you just kind of, weren't really exercising
Right.
and just weren't really
Busy
eating
right.
appropriately, and probably didn't really know how to go about eating.
No.
So the food, honestly, I mean, there are really no complaints about the food.
No.
And
I mean, there's been things that I've tried that I'm like, I don't need to have that again.
Yeah.
But for the most part, absolutely everything is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it gets back to, you have to season stuff. That's what I've come to realize is like, you have to, yeah.
Well, and so you're not a big, just like following recipes. You're not a big
No.
recipe person, but you do make recipes and you do on occasion.
Yeah.
But you're more of
I'm very,
what's my starchy grainy? Yes. What's my protein? What are my vegetables?
And I could probably eat the same dinner 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And I would be okay.
Yeah.
And then I would rotate, but
Right.
I would be okay if it's good.
Yeah. But, we talk about changing it up and getting all different kinds of colors. And we're going to do a little bit more of that. We're going to say, how many colors of vegetables and fruits can you get in a day? It's kind of part of the integrative and functional nutrition thing that we use. So it's called the PBC IBM guidelines, where you're actually looking like at the phytonutrients, because those phytonutrients, which are really things that fight the cancer cells and provide you with lots of nutrition, the more color you get, the more kind of tools you got to attack things, right? So you start thinking, and this is where we start thinking about eating 100%. I want everything to go in your mouth. It's going to be great and nutritious, but that's when you start thinking about food a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You start thinking about, I'm getting that calcium, and I really enjoy my dairy, but it's my fat dose of calcium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all are deficient in calcium and that vitamin D and all of those things. So, you're working through that first month. Obviously, the scale is a huge factor in motivation.
Absolutely.
Because you pretty much have lost every week. Did you have 1 week?
I had 1 week that I stayed the same.
Right. And then you might have had a week where it was a half a pound.
Maybe.
There's a lot of work for half a pound. I'm like, relax.
Yeah.
Remember.
And I felt guilty when I said it.
It's all about what we gain, not about what we lose. So, so you're skating through, you're feeling good. So month 1, the exercise, now you're starting to see, benefits beyond the scale.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Now,
as a former athlete,
mm-hmm.
How did that exercise look to you? Like, how did it feel at the beginning? And then, like, you're getting a couple weeks in, and now you're almost 90 days in. What did that feel like?
It never, you hear other people's stories, and it's like, oh, I hate going. I really don't hate going to the gym. There are days when it's easier than others, but for the most part, I don't ever hate going. So that's a benefit, and I think a great thing for me. Not saying that it won't ever hit, but maybe it won't, I hope. It's just definitely part of my day. And from day 1, August 1st, that's something that I'm very good at calculating. The food, I'm kind of sometimes all over the place, but I always get it in, where my exercise is definitely like, it happens here, period. And so that's definitely helped me be successful that way. I enjoy what I do, but now 3 months in, I'm definitely like, okay, I got to throw something else in there, because 1, the bike and the treadmill aren't challenging me enough now. So it's like I did 15 incline the other day, and I'm like, okay, there we go. So I'm having to change things up to definitely challenge me. But in the beginning, it was hard. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm out of shape, but it never deterred me from doing it. And then now if I went back and did day one exercise,
It's a walk in the park.
Yeah, which is a great feeling.
That's the training effect.
Yes.
Like that training effect you saw within a few weeks, how quickly your body started to acclimate, right? And how strong you started to get, and how your cardiovascular fitness started to change, and your capabilities in the gym. And then you did see Sam for a private one-on-one session.
A couple weeks ago.
And what did you guys work on then?
Well, because I have had pretty significant back issues that have kept me in bed and put me in the hospital before, but nothing surgically that they can do. It's very much muscular. So she looked a lot she looked at my mobility and how I was doing certain movements. And, you realize how weak you kind of are, in certain movements. And, she would watch how my hips would, fall or, so it was definitely an eye-opening because at that point I was 2.5 months in, maybe a little less, 2 months plus. And I had lost substantial amount of weight, inches and all of that, but I had done a little bit of strength training just from what I knew from being an athlete all the years, but never calculated like Sam does it. And so it was definitely an eye-opener for me going, oh, you're not as strong as you would think I would be after exercising 6 times a week or 6 times, that's a lot of exercising, but it's very different from the strength, so I was very much confident in my cardio abilities. I can run on the treadmill and all of those things, but okay, 5-pound weight, it's a little,
pushing your body out the ground, right?
push-ups, pull-ups, forget about it. That doesn't happen. So it was definitely interesting and not embarrassing, but because Sam definitely did not make me feel that way, but I'm like, wow, okay.
It's an eye-opener.
It definitely is an eye-opener. Definitely is. And what I'm grateful for is doing it, but also knowing that I can only get better. As long as I follow the 4 weeks that, I'm on now, because this is week 3 that I've been doing the official strength stuff.
Right.
It's definitely I'm like, oh, the push-ups don't kill me like they did day 1. And they're still hard.
Right.
But I'm definitely seeing, even in the 2.5 weeks of doing it, I've definitely seen progress already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
great. And that's why things are kind of in 30-day segments, because it gives you a chance to build and then, and kind of get used to the exercise. Like, okay, I understand this. And then, the next 30 days, you get a different segment. So the fitness macros exist for that reason. You've got the cardiovascular, the strength, the mobility sections, but you can also change that up. And that's the beauty of having myself on the one-on-one, when I deal with, lots of different things with different clients. Maybe they have with, spouses or kids, or they want to work on this or that, or I'll go cook with people. So we're there for lots of different things. With Sam, you're able to go for a private session. Even if you're virtual with her, you're able to work with her. And like Lisa Photo said, I'm so bored with my cardio. Lisa's not bored
Don't
anymore.
say that out
loud. Believe me, Samantha B will take care of your boredom in the gym if you want it. So, and just like, now, you went on a hike, with your son and your son-in-law and your daughter, and you were right there with them. Don't you have something planned for the turkey trot coming up here? You guys do a little family turkey trot?
My husband has to work.
So well, guess what? You're going with us. Because the local Mama G's, we're doing a little turkey trot here. But, and
things that I would have never thought about doing.
Yeah, participating with the family. And she said she keeps her athletic shoes with her in the car at all times. So she's prepared and ready to go. And that's the big thing here is, do you see yourself going back to your old life?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so the fitness component, yes, you were an athlete. You understand what that looks like, but you also walked away from it for a long period of time.
And very different. I mean, what I did as an athlete is very different from now. And what I will, not that I can't swim the rest of my life, because that's something actually older people can do as they get older. But I never was this kind of, hopefully turning into an athlete, like dry land people.
Oh yeah, because like Mama G, you too can be an athlete. So that's awesome. And then the food wise, I mean, I feel like you've acclimated, and we actually will end this with talking about the fact that you were saying it, you're getting a little nervous, as you're getting closer to goal weight.
Yeah.
And the fact that she knows what's going to happen, which means more calories. So interesting that I will say that majority of clients are afraid of reaching goal and having to add calories. But if you think logically, if we sit at a certain amount of calories and you're getting your exercise in and you're moving down the chart in terms of your weight, and we want to steady it off, it's logical.
It makes sense.
You're going to add some calories in.
But when you're coming from a non-eating brain, eating what I eat now is very mind-blowing sometimes. And so to add more, I'm not worried that I'm going to gain weight. That doesn't, because But it's still, and so, the beauty of it is after 90 days is a couple things happen. We love everybody to slide right into the lifestyle to be with us forever. So you always have that support. You got Mama G and Samantha B via the Facebook private page. You've got all the people on there. You can ask questions all you want, but we do have some people who aren't ready to let go, right? With Mama G and Samantha B. So we have that opportunity to stay in the experiment or come back into the experiment, because some people aren't ready to make that separation, or as you're transitioning, into adding more calories or changing up your exercise because you have a goal. Maybe you want to run a 10K or a half marathon, or you want to try a Spartan sprint and you got to change up your exercise a little bit or whatever. The nice part is you got us whenever you want us for that extra hand holding, but we are there for you all the time anyway, which is nice. So it's turned out to be a pretty successful experiment on Kim Tyler. Did I surprise you?
Yes. But as I said, teacher's pet, for sure. Well,
no pressure.
Do you know what Samantha B always signs off with?
You are better for the rest.
And Mama G always says, it is not about what you lose, folks. It is 100% about what you gain. Go get it.